Okay, this is a how-to on making your map into a KML so that you can put it onto Google Earth for presenting to stuff like your land classification committee. So starting with ArcMap, I grouped all of my layers over here under just the chutes base layer, so I want that on my map so I can see that. And the other one that I'm going to want is this A3. I tiled a bunch of land classification. It's just one of the many tiles. I have more of them, but I only put this one on the map for this little video. But that's the land classification that we're looking at. So starting with Deschutes base map. So we're going to go to our tools in a second. And then we do conversion tools to KML. It's pretty straightforward. Layer to KML, and I'm doing the Deschutes base layer, and everything that you want to show up on your map you need to have turned on. I have this fires turned off, and I haven't really checked into it why, but for some reason that one prevents me from making my layer the way that I want, from making a KML. So I want to make sure I'm saving this where I want it. Put it in my library, documents. I have a folder I set up for this thing. So whatever name you want. So that's my FLC base, my forced land classification base. So that's where I'm saving it to. I want to clamp the features to the ground. I don't really worry about the output scale. You can do that if you want it, but I don't want it. Or I don't care. So that is making the KML. Let's see here. Maybe just about done, I think. So that will end up showing up once it's done. But the other thing that I want to do is this A3. I need to do. So the KML is done. See it over there. Oops. That's the wrong button there. But either way, KML is done. We'll take a look at it. But data management tools. So that A3. So I want to turn that into a layer, and then also I want it to be labeled so that when we look at it, we can see what classification it is. So there's a few different steps here you got to take. First one is you come into features and multi-part to single part. So currently this A3 will have multiple polygons that are like a land class 2 or 3, but it'll only label it once because they're all the same feature, the same whatever, they're multiple polygons with one label basically. So I'm going to take that A3, put that in here. I don't really care. I'm going to leave that in my default and let it do its thing. Okay, so now I have this multi-part to single part. And so now if I go to label that, it will label each individual polygon. Except labeling in KMLs, it won't label polygons the way that you want it to. So these need to be points. So now I've got them into individual polygons. Now I need to make them all into points. So feature to point. And I'm sure you can build a model to do this. I started to one day and then I just quit because it was taking me forever to build a model, and I can do this just as fast. So now, same thing again. I don't care where it saves. It's going to go into my default geodatabase. So there's all the points. Points are there. I really don't care about the size, so I make these down to 0, and then I do no color on them, so you can't see the point. I still leave a little dot, but it's small. And then I want to actually I want to look at the properties. Go to properties to make sure that it's labeled. I want to label them all, and I want to label them by land class. And I like to make this a little bit bigger, so 12, a bold, and then a color that stands off. something like this. And then also I change the symbol, hit symbol again, and I do this mask with a halo. So now, that was quite a bit of stuff there. I went pretty quick there, but either way, label it however you need to so you can see it. So there they are, you can see all the labels. Okay, so A3. So back to A3. A3 has the symbology for the polygons that I want, so I want to convert that to a KML. I keep doing that. So back to tools. Conversion tools up here. Layer to KML. And I'm going to do this A3. And I want to save that same place I did the other one. Where are my videos? So there's the A3 poly so I can see what it looks like. Say OK. So it's making it, and then now I want to also do this. This is going to be my label, this multi-part to single part up here where it's just a little dot. So again, layer to KML, multi-part to single part, put it in there, save this. And I saw that thing was done, so back in here again, and then A3 labels. Save that. Say OK. So that's doing its thing. It looks like it's done. Okay, so we'll minimize that. So open up the folder where I just saved that. 2015. Videos, how to vid. Okay, so here's my land, my base. So it's going to open, go Google Earth. I'm going pretty fast on this because I'm limited to 10 minutes on my video. I think I'm running up against it. So there it is, right? And then I can expand this, and I can turn all this stuff off and on. So I can turn off the public ownership, and then now you can just see all of the whatchamacallit. And then I add all this other stuff so that while we're going through it, people can say, well, wasn't there a fire out there? Well, you turn your fires on and off and see what it was. What was the old classifications? That's what it was before we started doing this project. Turn that on and off as well. And then back here in my folder, I also have the A3 polygon. So there's my A3 polygon. I'm not sure. There's my A3. A3 whoa. A3 polygon. Okay, and then the last piece of this is the labels that I've made. Oh, there they are. Okay, so now if we're going through this, we're going section by section, you could zoom into a section. And once you get there, voila, you have your labels, your polygon shows up, and you look at this and say, there used to be a fire scar there, let's take a look, large fires, yeah, right across a big fire scar. And you can zoom in and see what everything is. And you can also do the old trick of dropping down for street view if people were curious whether or not you're looking at pine trees or what the vegetation is. And you can look right at it. Like, okay, yeah, and there's that big grassy area that's all watered out there, and there's the golf course. Looks like smoke coming up. Anyway, next is street view. So that's it. Hopefully that helps out. If you have questions, let me know. I hope this recorded correctly because the sound is always messed up. Alright. Email me if you have questions.